guest speaker from the Trump administration. Her name is Suzanne Tufts, and she is a dear friend of ours from right here in Queens, from Forest Hills. And she's been away. She's been battling the deep state in Washington, D.C. She's been in the HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development, and she's been working under Dr. Ben Carson in the Trump administration. And she's here tonight to give us a briefing on her battle, her personal battle against the deep state. Let's welcome Suzanne Tufts.
To be back on Judy and her. And my support and my best to everyone who's going to run and make Queens great again and make Donald Trump's home county. Donald Trump's home. Basically, as I think you all know, Phil and Joe are what we call escalator guys. They were there that famous day when Donald Trump came down the escalator and announced for America. They saw the future. They are building the future with this group and with Queens, and I have the utmost confidence in them. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going on in D.C. I do have to correct one thing. I am no longer with the administration. I fought the deep state, and temporarily, the deep state won. Basically, I spent a good year in there. I learned a lot. I learned who our friends are. I learned who our enemies are, and you're going to hear more about that from Corey Lewandowski and David Bossi, and what's going to be a great dinner that I really urge you all to attend. It's vital in building this club and building this party, and in helping Donald Trump help you. But basically, I was nominated by the president to serve as Assistant Secretary for Housing and Urban Development, which is basically all the administrative management and career personnel side of life. And I'm proud to say, I know pride is a sin, so I'm going to say, I was unanimously confirmed by both the Senate Finance and Housing Committee and by the full Senate. I was one of only a handful of appointees. What that means is Elizabeth Warren and Rand Paul actually agreed on nominating me. And people used to say, what is it about you? How did you get this? And I said, well, I'm not standing in anybody's way. The minute I start to get in someone's way, they're going to get me out of it. And 1 year later, lo and behold, I get a phone call from a friend of mine saying, oh my God, did you hear what Rachel Maddow said about you last night? You've got to do something. And sure enough, Rachel had spent the first 15 minutes of her show telling everyone how Suzanne Tufts is the most evil woman in Washington. Yeah, now, I take that as a really high compliment. You can't pay for that kind of publicity. Okay, what did I do to be so basically so evil? I tried to do what Donald Trump is doing to make change. Yes, he talks about the swamp all the time. We're seeing it every night with Bob Mueller and his investigation, his witch hunt, and with the coup, you're seeing that on law enforcement and national security level, but it's going on in every domestic agency. And the way it's going on is twofold. One is the people, the career people, are not just the bureaucrats of old. Herb served President Reagan, he served President Bush, and I served President Bush who are more liberal than we are, than bureaucrats. What's happened since that time is they became radicalized. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, not Bill, but Hillary, put in all the kind of flag-burning, really anti-American, hardcore left that are just bursting out of the surface. They run every aspect of the career. So that is one part of the swamp. But unfortunately, they're joined by another part of the swamp. And that's only coming to light now, and that was my education. And this is a problem that really the president is only himself becoming aware of. He turned a lot of his appointments over to his enemies. Presidential personnel staffed this administration, with a few exceptions, and I'm one of them, with people who are either blatant never-Trumpers, anti-Trumpers, or just don't see the world that Donald Trump sees it. And at HUD, Ben Carson is as loyal and solid as you get. His staff, his personal staff, are loyal and solid. But I was warned from almost my first day to, quote, tone it down, Suzanne, on my praise of the president, because there were senior level appointees who were enemies of the president. And everything the president would try to do, they would find a way to get basically arm in arm with the career staff and to thwart. So I'll just give you some examples. Office of Management and Budget, they control the budget, as they say, they control every federal agency. They ordered me and HUD to increase our hiring, as if we don't have enough bureaucrats, and put us on a hiring. Basically, we were ramping up our hiring to take every Peace Corps Vista, this is sound from the activists, out of college, to take like every Antifa kid could get a job in the administration. No, nobody said boo about that. Something else, a bit more serious. Our personnel department was finding out that people were taking bribes, doing real sexual harassment. I don't mean, oh gee, 30 years ago I was drunk at a party and maybe sort of it was him. I mean, we're talking really bad stuff. And they go to the Inspector General, and the Inspector General would agree with them. And the Office of General Counsel would block me, tooth and nail, from doing anything about these people, to the point where I was bored about them. A third thing, we had an appointee who was and is and still is loyal to John Kasich, yes, and would constantly say how disappointing it was that Kasich was the president. He went in to OMB and got them to agree to go to Congress and ask for $1.4 billion more to fix the financial systems of HUD. Meanwhile, his staff is blowing through their money a mile a minute. We have one guy on staff, very nice person, was running a lot of the federal housing programs, who referred to the president as, quote, this crazy guy who we all have to work for. He doesn't have to work for him. This is an honor. You don't want to work for the guy? You think he's crazy? Stay in the private sector. And what I learned is, for them, the swamp, yes, it is a hot tub. And for the careerists, it's a hot tub. And they have joined forces and they thwart Donald Trump in every way possible. And really the benefits that are happening to the country are happening because of one man, Donald Trump. I mean, what we have to do, what is so important, and it gets to the point where even Dr. Carson himself, who was so loyal and we had such a good relationship, when Rachel started doing her thing, it was because he was going to send me over to Department of the Interior to try to be supportive of Secretary Zinke, who was in the crossfire, the crosshairs of the extreme environmentalists. And boy, that's a pretty bad bunch when you get at it. But there are only so many waves you can make, and you've got to pick and choose your battles. So for a lot of also family reasons, my husband was ill at the time, I told him, okay, I'm going to resign. There is no point, and I came back home. And honestly, I felt very bad about it until I came home. And I realized the place to be is with the people who put Trump in office. The place to be is with the people who really care about making America great, not making themselves wealthy. Not making the system be some kind of like old-fashioned mandarins, right, out of the Ottoman Empire, where they're going to tell us, because they're so much smarter than we are, how to work. So what I like to say is, what are we going to do? What do we do? Well, first of all, you go to the back of the room at the end of tonight, and you give your email address to anyone and everyone, and even if you're not in their district, you must know somebody who is, okay? So just brainstorm with them, look through their list, do whatever you can to get them in there. Come on March 24th, because success is a three-legged stool. One is you've got to have good candidates locally. And hey, we got Donald Trump in 2020, But you had people joke on candidates, put his name out there again and again. You've got the people running here, so you've got the candidates. You need the funds. Now the good news is you don't need megazillions. Donald Trump proved that. But you need some funds, right? And that's what the 24th is about. And you need enthusiasm. And boy, you guys have it. But boy, you really will have it after the 24th. And you need volunteers, which goes along with the enthusiasm. So come on the 24th and do that. And then third, if anyone is going into the administration, I will be, whether here or you have, sister, cousin, aunt somewhere around the country, do get in touch. Phil has my email. Easier to reach me on email than by phone. I will be happy to guide you. I can't really guide you through the process because nobody knows how that works. Even I don't know how that works, and I got in. So, and by the way, the only reason I got in is I had worked on the Bush campaign in addition to the Trump campaign. So they thought I was a Bush person. So who knows? But if you're going in, I will be more than happy to put you together with a loyal secret society of MAGA people within this organization. I know I need to keep it going quickly, but we don't have time for questions.
No.
Do we? No. Okay.
Now we're going to have the forum.
Okay. Well, Joe, again, thank you for everything that you've been doing. Thank you for your campaigns. And
thank you for all you're doing with our president.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Susan. Suzanne Tufts, welcome home to Queens, the birthplace of our president, Donald Trump, not more than a half a mile away from this location, here on Midland Parkway, where our president grew up.
I'm going to start Urban Judy. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Susan.